Imagine spending the night at a friend's house. You arrive late in the evening, you exchange a few emails, chat for a while, and settle into a guest room, but less than 2 hours later, you're dead. 3 other people are inside the home. Nobody sees the attack, nobody hears a struggle, and 20 years later, no one has ever been convicted of your murder. This month on Patreon, I'm taking a closer look at one of the strangest and most baffling unsolved cases I've ever covered: the murder of Robert Wone. Robert wasn't the type of person you'd expect to become the victim of a violent crime. Born in Manhattan and raised in Brooklyn, he grew up in a close-knit Chinese-American family that valued education, hard work, and community. And by all accounts, Robert embodied those values. He attended William and Mary, later graduated from the University of Pennsylvania Law School, and built an impressive legal career. By 2006, he was serving as general counsel for Radio Free Asia, a nonprofit news organization dedicated to providing uncensored reporting to countries with limited press freedoms. But what stands out most when reading about Robert isn't his resume. It's the stories people told about him. Friends remembered him as thoughtful, generous, and dependable. One friend recalled that Robert kept a spreadsheet of birthdays so he would never forget to celebrate the people he cared about. Another remembered how he'd routinely put coins into expired parking meters to save complete strangers from getting a ticket. By the summer of 2006, Robert was 32 years old, happily married, and had what appeared to be a bright future ahead of him. Then came August 2nd. That evening, Robert was working in Washington, D.C. Rather than drive all the way home to Virginia, he made plans to stay with a longtime friend named Joseph Price. Around 9:30 that night, Robert spoke with his wife, Catherine. There was nothing unusual about the conversation, nothing alarming, nothing memorable. It was the last time she would ever hear his voice. Around 10:30, Robert arrived at Joseph's townhouse on Swann Street in Washington, D.C. Also inside the home were Joseph's partner, Victor Zaborsky, and another man named Dylan Ward. According to everyone involved, the evening was completely normal. No arguments, no tension, no indication that anything was wrong. Robert spent some time checking emails, preparing for meetings the next day, and talking with the others before eventually heading upstairs to a guest room for the night. Less than 2 hours later, a 911 call came in.
DC Emergency 911 operator 6752. Do you need police, fire, or ambulance?
We need an ambulance.
What's wrong, ma'am?
We had someone name us in our house, evidently, and they stabbed somebody.
Okay, somebody's inside the house now?
I don't know. We heard.
Are they bleeding? You see someone bleeding?
Someone is bleeding in our house.
Okay, where's they bleeding from?
I think in the stomach.
In the stomach? Is he conscious?
When paramedics arrived, they found Robert alive, but barely. He had been stabbed 3 times in the chest. And despite emergency treatment, Robert died shortly after midnight. And that's when investigators began noticing things that didn't make sense. The first was the amount of blood at the scene, or rather, the lack of it. Robert had suffered catastrophic injuries, the kind of injuries that would typically produce a significant amount of blood loss. Yet, the room appeared surprisingly clean. Investigators also noted there were no obvious signs of a struggle. Furniture wasn't overturned. Nothing appeared broken. And Robert himself had no defensive wounds. For a healthy 32-year-old man, that was unusual. But the autopsy would reveal something even stranger. Medical examiners documented multiple small puncture marks on Robert's body. Investigators began asking difficult questions. Had someone attempted to inject him with something, a sedative, a paralytic drug, something that prevented him from resisting? Yet toxicology testing found no drugs, no alcohol, nothing. And that's where this case becomes so fascinating. Every answer seems to create another question. 3 people were inside the house. No intruder was ever identified. No one was ever charged with murder. And despite years of investigations, forensic testing, courtroom battles, and competing theories, no one has ever been able to fully explain what happened inside that townhouse on the night Robert died. In the full Patreon bonus episode, I break down the forensic evidence, the crime scene, the autopsy findings, the strange facts investigators couldn't ignore, the legal battle that followed, and the theories that continue to divide people nearly 20 years later. If you'd like to hear the entire episode, along with ad-free listening, early releases, and exclusive bonus content every month, you can join me on Patreon using the link in the show notes or by visiting patreon.com/forensictales. And trust me, this is one case that will leave you questioning almost everything.